One is sitting, asana, sitting. Basically the goal is to keep the spine erect, but not rigid, not ramrod straight, because you'll become very tired if you do that. Erect but flexible. So a good yoga teacher can teach you. Any of the good yoga teachers can improve your posture. So the instructions are, you have to sit straight, keep the neck and the chest and the waist in one line, keep the spine straight. Straight means the spine is naturally curved, so you can't actually make it straight like this, but flexible and free. Don't put your support on other things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 instructions. That's one way of giving instructions. Another way of doing exactly the same thing is this. Sit like the mountain, breathe like the wind. Imagine a mountain sitting. Imagine you are the mountain sitting. That's a suggestion not to your linear cognitive mind. That's a suggestion to your subconscious mind. You will see your posture will become very steady. After all, you are the mountain. You don't fidget. So if you imagine that, you will feel like sitting like that. Massive like the mountain, unmoving. Breathing natural. Breathe like the wind, not artificially. As the wind blows, also the breath flows in and out of the body. That's another way of teaching. Another way of teaching. You see, Vivekananda, this we can use is, imagine, this is the way it works. Imagine not how Vivekananda is sitting. That will not work. Imagine you are not there. Imagine Vivekananda is sitting here. The mind, if you tell the mind, sit like Vivekananda, that will lead to a struggle. Because the mind thinks, you are you. You can't sit like Vivekananda. So it will be a form of imitation. But if you suggest to the mind, you are not there. I, the person, am not there. This is Vivekananda sitting. Then the mind, whatever it knows and understands about Vivekananda and has seen the picture, it will try to express that. Imagine, I am not meditating. I imagine Vivekananda is sitting here, how Vivekananda is sitting, how it feels from inside, how Vivekananda is feeling, how he's breathing, and what thoughts are there in the mind of Vivekananda, not mine. I'm not trying to be Vivekananda. I'm not there at all. It is Vivekananda. Basically, it's still you. But it's your mind's understanding of Vivekananda which is given free rein now. So these are different techniques. They use that in modern ways, that neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. So they use these techniques there. You know, our teachers have told us, so you're feeling very lazy, for example, or sleepy. It might be a good thing to get up and go and wash your face, maybe do the japam while walking around a little bit, and then come back and sit. Good enough? That's when you are feeling very sleepy, lazy. When you are feeling very distracted, then instead of keeping your eyes closed, keep your eyes open and focus on the deity. In the temple, there's a bright image of the deity. Keep your eyes focused there. You need an external support. Otherwise, if you keep your eyes closed, the mind will go every which way. The techniques. In Tibetan Buddhism, for example, they say when you visualize the deity, if your mind is becoming dull, this is a subtle overcoming. It will not work for gross problems, but for subtle problem, mind is becoming dull and sleepy, brighten, turn on the lights in your imagination. Make the deity more bright and light. It's like floating and illumined and shining. That's when your mind is lazy, when your mind is dull. If your mind is becoming distracted, then make the image less bright and more heavy, like a stone image sitting here. That gives a suggestion to the mind. Actually, when you actually go to a meditation teacher, they will teach you with many subtle techniques. I mean, just an indication. Feeling sleepy, wake up. But there are ways to wake up. There are subtler and subtler ways to wake up. A simple way might be to go and wash your face, but a more subtle way might be to make a change in the way you are visualizing the deity, make it more attractive inside. But the basic idea is the same everywhere. Enlightened people so happy, so naturally happy. And he asks you to consider, imagine if all that had to be done in human life, imagine if you have done that. Imagine the feeling that I have achieved whatever has to be achieved in life. Imagine the peace. I took it as peace, but once I said this, somebody raised a hand, and wouldn't it be boring? Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's how people think in Manhattan. Nothing more left to achieve. No, not that way. But all that has to be the highest that can be achieved in human life, I have achieved it. Suppose you feel that way, number one. All that I can get in human life, anything that one can get in life, I've got it all. Add it to that. All that can be known in human life, all knowledge possible. I have known the highest, the thing to be known, I have known it. The thing to be got, I have got it. The thing to be done, I have done it. If you could have that kind of feeling, really, not imagining. If you could have that kind of feeling, imagine then how much your peace would be. How much your satisfaction would be. How free you would be. Then you would live in freedom. There would be nothing that you would want from the world. Your life would be a life of peace and joy and giving, a blessed life. The life, a blessing for you and for others. So that is, in LA when I was learning to drive, so the gentleman who taught me, at first I was like, I was so concentrated on I was holding the wheel and looking around, and my only concern was not hitting anything or anybody. And I would ask the person next to me, do I take a left or a right? Tell me. And then he said, Swami, you'll slowly have to get used to reading the signs, maybe taking a look at the GPS once in a while. And it seemed impossible to me. I'll hit somebody if I do that. All these signs whizzing past, how do I look at that? And yet within some time, I could read all the signs. I could even carry on a casual conversation with the guy next to me without taking my eyes off the road. And I was not hitting anybody or anything. And you all do that when you drive. Now that is, the first one is also driving, the second one is also driving. But what a difference. The second one is almost effortless. Especially when there's almost no traffic when you drive. I've heard many people tell me, I find driving relaxing. Now at the first stage of my learning, if you told me driving is most relaxing, I wouldn't believe it. It takes all effort and concentration. You're hurtling along the highway at 70 miles per hour or 60 miles per hour in a 2-ton machine. You could just wreak havoc anytime. So you are intensely aware of what's going on every moment of, and all the thing becomes very natural in a very short period of time. You have to do it internally. If you do it externally and not internally, no good. Even a monk, suppose externally. So in India it's a common phrase. Oh yogi, you have colored your cloth but not your mind. You have colored your cloth in the color of renunciation. Somebody asked, what's the meaning of this orange? It is the meaning of, it's the color of renunciation, the fire of renunciation. But if this is just the cloth and the mind is full of attachment, then it doesn't work. Here and there, and the abbot, the senior monk of the ashram said, what are you doing so restlessly? Oh, I lost 500 rupees here. And the monk said, money, you're thinking about money here? Go to the temple and meditate. Forget it. These things will come and go in the world. And the devotee thought, oh, he's right. And he went to the temple and meditated. A few days later, he came to find a tremendous tumult going on in the ashram. The abbot was there, his face was red and with anger, and was shouting, and all the people in the ashram were standing with their heads bowed, trembling. And he was shouting, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to complain. I'm going to throw the lot of you in jail. And this devotee came and said, Swami, what's wrong? I had kept 20 rupees on the desk. Now I can't find it. One of these rascals has stolen it. I want to find out who's done it. The devotee said, but Swami, when I had lost 500 rupees, you told me that don't think about it. This is an ashram. Think about God. Now you are so worried and angry about 20 rupees. And Swami said, oh, you don't understand. That was your 500 rupees. This is my 20 rupees. That's attachment, internally. The moment a doubt comes, is it right or wrong? That's another thought. Shankaracharya gives answer to this. He says, Yaeva tasya nirakarta tasyeva atmasa. The one who doubts the existence of this pure consciousness, the Atman, the self, is the self of the very doubter. Without that pure consciousness, you could not doubt. The very doubt proves that you are pure consciousness. That's the beauty of Advaita. Once you have understood it, nothing can shake you from that. Staying with that understanding is the meditation. For some time you need to intensely stay with that. Tell me the story. He said one day I asked him, this non-dualist Swami, how do I know I'm enlightened? When I'm enlightened, how do I know it? And that Swami, that non-dualist master told me that right now, do you have any doubt that you are a man? No. Do you have to think about it? Do you have to meditate upon it? Do you have to reason about it? Do you get confused about it? Do you have to take classes in it? No. I know, I'm a man. Exactly like this. When you know beyond the possibility of any doubt that you are Brahman, what you're reading about, then you're enlightened. There's no question of any confusion, any effort after that. So that will come only at the conclusion of this meditative process. Before this, you must have done your homework. Many people say, Vedantic meditation, that's the real thing. Okay, Swami, teach the Vedanta stuff, I'll come in at the end. Won't work. You won't get anything. You just know that, I'm supposed to be, stay with Aham Brahmasmi. Okay, I'll sit and repeat Aham Brahmasmi, won't work. It'll be a nice thing, your mind will quieten down, it's a good practice. But it's not what they are talking about. To what extent they mean it. There's a story about the great sage Ashtavakra and the Shukadeva and the Emperor Janaka. Ashtavakra was one of the teachers of the Emperor Janaka, who was a Brahmagyani, an emperor who was an enlightened person, a knower of Brahman. One day, he was sitting and meditating, and the great sage Shukadeva was passing by, and the emperor was sitting and meditating. I am Brahman, he's sitting quietly and meditating. They're doing this meditation. And the great sage asked him, what are you doing? I'm meditating on the fact that I am Brahman. Don't disturb me, I'm meditating. I am Brahman. So the sage sat down next to him and started repeating that the monks in India, they carry a stick and water pot, Danda Kamandalu. So he started repeating, this is my water pot, this is my stick, this is my water pot, this is my stick. And the emperor was disturbed and he started repeating audibly, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. This is my water pot, this is my stick, this is my water pot, this is my stick. After some time, the emperor said in irritation, what are you doing? I'm meditating, I'm on the fact that this is my water pot and this is my stick. Everybody knows. Who told you that it's not your water pot and stick? For God's sake, stop that. And Shukadeva said, exactly, Emperor. Who told you that you're not Brahman? You should come to that point. You don't even feel the need to repeat that, and you're able to stay with that. It should not be a mental effort also. I remember one monk going to a non-dualist teacher. I was there, a great Swami in the Himalayas in Haridwar. After a long discussion, this monk, young monk, in great earnestness, he asked the master, but at least this much I must hold on to. And I will not hold on to anything. I'm not the body, not the mind. Okay, fine. But I am Brahman. I must hold on to this. And the Swami said, this is exactly what you must not hold on to. As long as you're holding on to it, you think it's an idea you have to hold on to. It's not an idea. It's not something to be done with the mind. Initially, yes. Ultimately, no. So this is one way is in yoga, Desha Bandha. Fix the margin or the boundaries in space. This is a good practice. You see, step by step your focus should improve. So where do you keep the mind? Space, where? Keep the mind. Yoga, your teacher might have told you, meditation teacher, keep the mind on the lotus of the heart. Which means, if the mind goes anywhere else, mind goes anywhere else, what do you mean by mind going anywhere? Mind thinking about something else. If it is something other than this space, you bring it back to this space. That is called dharana. Fixing the mind in a space. For example, another recommendation, in the Yoga Sutras, the commentaries, Vyasa, he talks about fixing the mind in the navel center, or in the heart center, or in the light between the eyebrows, like that. Or there are other techniques. Fix the mind in the space of that picture. You tell yourself, the next 15 minutes, my eyes and will not leave that picture. That is pratyahara. You've taken your senses from elsewhere. Now my mind will not live in that picture. Whatever I think about will be within the dimensions of that picture. You have fixed the mind in a space. To make the space more interesting, you have an image, a deity, the beloved form of Krishna or Ramakrishna there. That is dharana. If I just say there's a dot on the wall and you keep your mind there, okay, that's also dharana, but it's a bit boring after some time. Instead of the dot, you can think of God, in a beautiful form of God, of Krishna or Kali or Ramakrishna or Christ or something. And you have an icon, an image, a symbol, and you keep your mind there. That is dharana, yogic dharana. The moment it goes elsewhere, what do? You recognize it has gone elsewhere, pull it back to the space. That is dharana. Yatra yatra mano yati, yatra yatra mano yati, brahmanastatra darshanat, brahmanastatra darshanat, manaso dharanam chaiva, manaso dharanam chaiva, dharana sa paramata, dharana sa paramata. Wherever the mind goes, the steadiness of the mind meditating on Brahman there itself, that is called the supreme dharana, the most liberal dharana. Wherever the mind goes, if you see Brahman there, that's the best dharana, the most liberal dharana, most universal dharana, focus. Possibility I'll wake up from a dream? Is there a possibility? Just a possibility, a theoretical possibility. Yes. In the case of consciousness itself, the witness consciousness itself, there is no possibility of such a thing. Ipso facto. Paramarthika truth. If you can appreciate the logic behind it, it's stunning. There is nothing that can correct you. I don't mean the person. I mean, Vedanta is trying to correct you. It's correcting our wrong knowledge that I am not Brahman. It can correct you. But nothing that can correct you, Brahman. Because all correction, all illusion, all correction, everything arises and disappears in consciousness. Yes. We draw all sorts of conclusions about your dream. The therapist wants to know, what did you dream about? Vedanta is interested in the witness of the dream, the one who sees the dream. And Vedanta says the one who sees the dream is the one who is seeing the waking state, is the one who sees the darkness of deep sleep. That one unchanging consciousness Vedanta is interested in and says, Sa Atma. That is the Atma. That has to be realized. Do you follow what I'm saying? Not only that is the Atma. That Atma alone is everything in your waking state. It is everything in your dream state, and it is also the potential samsara, the potential jagat in your deep sleep, the darkness of your deep sleep state. That is Vedantic pranayama. In contrast, and when you have that conviction, that understanding, stabilize yourself in that. Stabilizing yourself in that is called jnana nishtha, stability in knowledge. Live like that. It's a wonderful way of living. Your life will be pervaded by freedom and bliss, no matter what happens in life. You'll be fully functional. In yogic meditation, you cannot be functional. You have to withdraw and sit down and meditate inside. In Vedantic meditation, you're fully functional. Brahma arpanam brahmavi brahmagno brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. We chant that before food. But what it means is, the one who sees Brahman in every action doesn't tell you to stop the action and sit and hold your breath. No. You can breathe normally, you can act normally, you can go around the world doing whatever you want to do. You see in everything in the world, in every action, you see Brahman. Just like in the dream, every action you perform in the dream is nothing but the dreamer's mind itself. Yeah.